To be humble, to be kind, it is a giving of the peace in your mind. To a stranger, to a friend, to give in such a way that has no end. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other and nothing more. And to be bold, to be brave, it is the thinking that the heart can still be saved. And the darkness can come quick, the danger's in the anger and in the hanging on to it. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other, nothing more. And tell me what it is that you see, a world that's full of endless possibilities. And heroes don't look like they used to, they look like you do. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other, nothing more. We are how we treat each other, nothing more. We are how we treat each other.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Berkeley. It is so good to be with you on this beautiful Sunday morning. So glad you're here. We hope that if you're visiting with us for the first time, you'll feel welcome here, no matter who you are or how you make a living, no matter whom you love or how you experience the sacred. We hope you'll feel welcome among us. If you would like to know more about what's happening in our community, you can always speak with somebody at the welcome table in the atrium, and everyone's invited to stick around after the service, make your way all the way across the atrium for a lunch in the social hall, gather with community. It'll be good to have you if you can stay. Every Sunday we have a memory book in the back of the sanctuary. If there's joy or sorrow, or grief or gratitude on your heart that you'd like lifted up in our service, I invite you to write it there, and I'll speak it aloud a little later on. Or you're always welcome to just light a candle for a silent memory or prayer. We are beginning today our season of summer worship services. We're transitioning to our summer rhythms of the congregation, which are a little different than the rest of the church year. Next Sunday will be my last Sunday in the pulpit for a little while. And today we start this summer season with a special kind of service that has sometimes been known as a decades service, where someone from each decade of life is invited to speak on a topic. And the way this tradition started with Reverend Carolyn Owen Toll in San Diego was to invite everyone to respond to that question Mary Oliver asks at the end of the summer day: what will you do with your one wild and precious life? So thank you for being here. Thank you for gathering in this community where we hear one another's stories from every stage of life. It is good to be together. Would you rise in body or spirit, and we will sing together to open our service when the summer sun is shining.
When the summer sun is shining over golden land and sea, and the flowers in the hedgerow welcome the butterfly and bee, then my open heart is glowing, full of warmth for everyone, and I feel an inner beauty which reflects the summer sun. When the summer clouds of thunder bring the long-awaited rain, and the thirsty soil is moistened, and the grass is green again, then I long for summer sunshine, but I know that clouds and tears are a part of life's refreshment, like the rainbow's hopes and fears. In the cool of summer evening, when the dancing insects play, and in garden, street, and meadow linger echoes of the day, then my heart is full of yearning, hopes and memories flood the whole of my being, reaching inwards to the corners of my soul.
Buenos días y bienvenidos. My name is Sandy Portillo Robbins, and I will be your worship associate for today. As we light our chalice, we remind ourselves that this church occupies land in Huchiyun, the unceded territory of the Chochenyo-speaking Ohlone people. May we have the humility and courage to do our part to restore what has been broken, and the wisdom to live into a new solidarity with Indigenous communities and the earth. Let us kindle our chalice flame with these words by Mary Oliver. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean. The one who has flung herself out of the grass. The one who is eating sugar out of my hand. Who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down. Who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Would you join me now in saying our covenant? Love guides this church. The quest for truth and justice is its common purpose. To give thanks, listen deeply, speak with care, honor our differences, and seek and grant forgiveness. These things we covenant with one another.
Everything on? Can you hear us? We're doing a cool song. We've been working on this song for a while, and it meets today's topic really well, I think. And the words are: run in your shadow, run in your shadow, run in your shadow in the moonlight, moonlight that's shining on the sand. Moonlight that's silver
on your hand.
Yeah, where's my tuning
fork? Run in your shadow, run in your shadow, run in your shadow in the moonlight, moonlight that's shining on the sand, moonlight that's silver on your hand. Run in your shadow, run in your shadow, run in your shadow in the moonlight, moonlight that's shining on your sand, moonlight that's shining on your hand. Run in your shadow, run in your shadow, run in your shadow, run in your shadow, light, moonlight shining on the sand, moonlight that's silver on your hand. Run in your shadow, run in your shadow, run in your shadow in the moonlight, moonlight that's shining on the sand, moonlight that's silver on your hand.
So our first couple of speakers from the first couple of decades of life are already up here. And before I ask them to speak, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do after each speaker through the whole service. We're going to have a sung response. We're going to go back and forth between singing, "I know this rose will open," and "From you I receive." So those are familiar to many of us. If they're not, it's 396 and 402 in the gray hymnal if you want to look along, but you'll catch on. So our very first speaker, Stella, would you tell us, what will you do with your one wild and precious life?
Hi, I'm Stella. I'm 7, and I don't know the answer to the question. I'll figure that out later. But I wanted to share this acrostic poem that I wrote for you. Recess. Running, everybody plays. Children, extra time outside. Swings, slides, recess. Thank you.
I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open.
Hi, I'm Em, and I'm gonna be in 7th grade. And this is what I want to do with my one wild and precious life. I want to fly. I want to fly because flying seems like it would be amazing, at least once you get used to it. I don't mean flying in an airplane. I mean lifting my body into the air with my own celestial power and gliding over all the blurring shapes below me. If I could fly, I could see the world with a different pair of eyes, and everything would look brand new and beautifully abstract, as it truly is. I try to look through different eyes as much as I can, but sometimes you can only do so when you experience certain moments. I don't think humans can really fly using their celestial power, but I do think the exhilarating, adrenaline-filled feeling of freedom can still be achieved. Sometimes I work hard to make something I love, like an artwork or a story. Even if it isn't beautiful, the passion of creating still brings me joy. Sometimes I discover incredible things about the world and myself. Even if it's something simple, the sensation of everything connecting and making sense in my mind still excites me. Sometimes I fall in love with other people's creations or ideas or stories. Even though I didn't come up with them, the inspiration I find still elates me. Sometimes I think of how big the world really is and realize that even though I'll never understand everything that can be understood, I can still try my best to do so. In these moments, I feel a giddy rush of freedom. It's like the sky is opening up and welcoming me, and I'm free to dance in the rain droplets however I like. The glorious feeling of creativity, wonder, and love almost completely satisfies my dream of soaring over the blurring shapes below me with my own celestial power. So basically, my answer is, I'm going to use my one wild and precious life to fly in whatever ways I can.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. Thank you so much. Would you come on and join me again up here on the steps, those of you who are young or anyone young of heart, anybody who wants to come up here for a story? Because I wanted to tell you a story about someone who may have seen, what was it, a shadow in a moonlight shadow? Yeah? Well, this little girl, she was living in a village that was not doing so well. The village, it was a drought. You guys remember when we had a drought? It's going to come again. We get not exactly, but it's going to, it's California. I realize it's why we don't sing that song that we sang this morning about the summer days, and then it talked about all the thunderclouds opening and rain. When Brian suggested, I said, I've never sung that song, and it's because we live in California. We don't have rain in the summer. Well, this village, like we had for several years and will have again, they were in a drought. No water for anyone, and people were getting a little bit cranky with each other. People were not being their kindest, highest selves. But this little girl, at night one time, she saw something happen in like a shadow cast by moonshine of something flying down and then landing on the ground and running away. And it caught her imagination. What was this creature that could fly and run? And she just knew she needed to know more about it. She needed to find it. But she wanted some help finding it. So she went to the blacksmith, and she said, "Could you please come help me find this creature? I saw the moon cast a shadow of it, and I need to find it. Some voice inside me told me I have to. I got to go find this creature." And the blacksmith said, "I'm not following you out on some cockamamie wild goose chase. I have important work to do. I've got to make these wheels for the carts so we can get more water for the village that comes from far away." And the little girl went on. She asked person after person in the village, "Would you help me? Would you help me find this creature I saw? I know I have to find it." And person after person said, "No, my work is too important. I'm busy. I can't help you." Finally, she decided, even though I can't find anyone to help me, I'm gonna go find it on my own. I just have to. I know I have to. And so she tore off, and she darted through the fields, and she got all those like stickers, the sticky things again in your socks, and then she darted through a marshy area. I don't know how there's a marshy area where there was a drought, but she got muddy and it was caking on all around. And then she ended up in the woods, and she was chasing, and she saw a glimpse of it. She saw a glimpse of the wild goose carrying out through the forest. But then as soon as she was looking up and her eyes were following it, she didn't look down. She stumbled on a tree branch. She tripped and fell. She landed in a spot that was kind of soft and gave way, and there was more mud. She realized where the marsh had come from. There was a spring, a hidden spring, here in the forest. And somehow, the wild goose chase that girl went on found the spring that saved the village from its drought. So I hope that you will go on wild goose chases, especially in this summertime without school. We're going to sing that Chalice Camp song. You all are welcome to stay in the service. During summertime, there's not RE classes or Celebration Chapel, but there is childcare. Today it'll just be in the atrium, so you're welcome to hang out here or hang out there. And we'll look forward to starting our program up again in August. All right, let's sing together. I'll sing a line, you sing it back. It's a blessing you were born, and it matters what you do, what you know about God is a piece of the truth. Let the beauty you love be what you do, and you don't have to do it alone. Cha-cha-cha.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah, and I'm 29 years old. When you're a kid, there are these Wizard of Oz style curtains held in front of you, built lovingly by adults to spare you from facing the mundane, the apathetic, the unjust real world. Getting older, in a way, means sequentially peeling back these curtains, each time hoping to find like some sort of Jedi who will restore balance to the Force, but really most of the time just finding like another small, insecure man. Now that my peers and I are taking up space in the workforce, we must come to terms with the fact that sometimes we are the small, insecure man, and that's pretty weird. Fresh out of college, I built all sorts of lists of academic subjects I'll conquer with all the free time that I will surely have, of great novels that I will soon read, and of friends that I'll invite to parties, even lists of big problems that in the world that I could help to solve. Lots of curtains. My peers now going through graduate school have shown me that conquering a subject isn't really a thing. It's more like you just uncover new layers of complexity and nuance, while at the same time running into this wall of, oh, no one really knows how this works. My friends wrapping up law school with these big dreams of fixing our broken criminal justice system have had to weigh that public interest job against the mass of their student loans. The list of party-going Bay Area friends I'd carefully curated didn't mean much when I was grieving the loss of my grandparents and yearning for family more than anything. Also, as it turns out, work takes up a lot of time, and so does reading great books, and only one of those helps to pay rent in the Bay Area, and barely at that. So I'm now in the very last few days of my 20s. The lists are not so important to me now. What is important is who's around me. I want to spend my one wild and precious life with chosen family, with biological family, with coworkers, even when they're frustrating and loud and unpredictable. I want it all, and I marvel at this aspect of our species, that the most humble of things, our little networks, are actually the most life-giving and the most health-giving force available to us. And I will still be grateful to squeeze in a few great books along the way, or even some parties, as long as they wrap up by 10:30, because all-nighters were definitely a thing of the 20s.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
Good morning. I'm Ryan Devine, and I'm 36. Maybe it's a commentary on being 36 that when I started trying to think about how to answer this question, I had too many ideas to come up here and say something cogent and really well thought through. So shout out to Stella. I had a similar idea. I wrote you a poem. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Is it staying up late and eating candy all night? Do you prefer to partake of other delights, or do you prepare to fight for your rights? It's hard to make plans because life's not a mission. There's no due date, no budgetary commission. But I can aspire, or have an ambition, to tell you the truth and have you all listen. When powerful men have unreal dreams, one wonders what real power really means. As our fates are decided by dealers of memes, the true wonder is in all these magic beans. I don't stalk, but I think I know Jack. A giant once had me for a snack. My doctor says I should eat more non-magical fruit. But true magic's not bad as a way to get loot. Whether your answers come from under a tree, or if all you want is one more cup of tea, what I truly desire most passionately is to learn how to be free, you and me, you and me. Thank you.
I know this rose will open. I know my fears will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open.
Mary Oliver's last line of her poem asks, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? As a recovering type A perfectionist, I've been very good at planning, setting big goals, staying focused, pushing forward to get to the end point. I'm sure you've done this too. SMART goals are frequently taught at schools and required in workplaces. Society tells us that what we measure gets improved, right? Lately, I've been asking, do we really need to plan and set goals to get something done? Is it possible to get to great and exciting places by following what feels good instead of what we should be doing? I can say I'm most happy when I'm choosing what to do because it's meaningful, interesting, or joyful to me, instead of because my plan says I'm supposed to do something else now. I still achieve things, and there is less stress, anxiety, and guilt because I'm not judging how close or far I am from the next goal. Choosing next steps based on how I feel has led me to some joyful, unexpected paths that I never could have imagined or planned for, and highlighted the wild and precious in life. Is it possible to live like this all the time? I'm not sure, but I'm having a great time experimenting with it. Thank you.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. I invite you to take a moment to settle more deeply into this time, this place, into your seat, down through your feet into this holy earth, this good earth, holding us throughout our lives. I invite you to turn inward with me to share words and then silence. Wind over the waters, dove in flight, Holy Spirit, that which the Celtic mystics named wild goose. Lead us in your chase. Catch us in the library with the pink letters on a white spine of a title that derails our careful search and sends us ricocheting through the poetry of contemporary indigenous writers. Pull us into the bronze fennel to commune with the swallowtail cocoon and witness the stillness of transformation amidst the dark and wispy fronds. Spark an idea for a Halloween costume with such delight that in early June, papier-mâché and scraps of a half-sewn shirt whirl through the house in creative joy. Wild goose, lead us to the unexpected. Remind us there is a mystery to this world we will never comprehend. And when our chase breaks our hearts, and you lead us to the places where pain and sorrow seem like they might just make the whole hunt feel hopeless. Honk with your relentless aliveness. Honk and bring us back to this life again and again through our tears and our laughter. And when I've forgotten to pay the bill, or gotten the kid to school late again, or double booked the meeting, or arrived at 6 o'clock without a dinner plan, let me plead the only excuse in the end. I was off chasing a wild goose. What could be more important in this one wild and precious life? In this community of joy and wonder, of sorrow and grief, we witness one another through the seasons of our lives. Today we lift up Marin, who's keeping my fingers crossed for my daughter's upcoming surgery. And we're with Barbara Cullinane, who's holding thoughts for peace and comfort as my dear friend Lindsay enters her final chapter. Joanne below shares David at 95, passed yesterday eve. A lovely man, now at peace. And Linda Zittel shares Lee Lawrence passed away quietly in her sleep on May 28th, or Lee Perry. A memorial service is planned for August 18th. Beth Jurdy shares, hold Molly Kniff in your thoughts and prayers. Off to return now, chemo. And Everly shares love, heartfelt condolences, Richard, for your mother's crossing over. May your family be held in loving remembrance. And Phyllis offers prayers for the recovery of Scott, husband of Lee Waldner, who is in ICU in Seattle. And Don Close is mourning with so many of us the ongoing and unnecessary loss of innocent lives in Gaza now, every day. With someone we offer prayers, please bless my sister Cecily, home from the hospital and back to her family for her final departure. Katrin Welch shares offering prayers of gratitude for the grounding medicine I receive when I'm here in this community. May my transition to the next stage of my life in Minnesota carry forward the blessings I've received here. I'll be back. Prayers and blessings for all those seeking refuge, physical and beyond, in this world. May we all know we belong everywhere. And prayers with someone for all those who struggle. May we find the help we need to move us into self-compassion and peace. And gratitude for the inspirations, poetic and powerful love of this community, with shared feelings for all ages, celebrated especially today and every day. Great appreciation and thanks. For all that we have named aloud, for all that yet remains in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts, too tender yet for words, may we know that what each of us brings here is held in the loving embrace of this community, and by a love beyond all naming, a love that cannot and will not let us go. May it be so, and amen.
Hi, I'm Natalie Campbell. I'll be 54 in September. I love a milestone birthday. 4 years ago, when my 50th was approaching, I made all kinds of plans. I even purchased multiple pairs of novelty glasses to celebrate the big day. I was ready. And then, womp womp, 2020, COVID canceled everything. Luckily, the following years had milestones. In 2021, my child Milo graduated from high school, turned 18, and went off to college. In the spring of 2022, my husband Kevin and I celebrated our 20th wedding anniversary together. And Kevin's 50th birthday party was planned for August of that same year. Finally, a chance to wear all the fancy 50 glasses. But in May, things started to unravel. Kevin's mental health went downhill and his depression took over. Every day was a struggle. And that June, he couldn't take it anymore. And he took his own life. My husband never made it to 50. And I was left a widow, in shock and grieving, wondering how I would ever be able to continue without Kevin. He was my best friend, my one true love. I didn't want to live my one wild and precious life alone. But I wasn't alone. All around me, my friends, this church, my family, they all came to my side. They comforted me and held me and let me know that they would do anything for me. Over the next year, I made it my job to go and visit all of my friends and family, wherever they lived, across the country, across the ocean. I went and I found ways to connect deeply. In the end, the ties we have are all what matter most. It is not just the milestones we need to celebrate. We need to appreciate each and every precious day spent with the people we love. Thank you.
I know this rose will open. I know my fears will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open.
Hi, my name's Phil Maynard, and I've been enjoying life for 66 years. I'm happily retired. I'm not a poet. I'm a nature geek. This photo is of our great horned owl mother and one of her owlets that were raised here at UUCB, right here, up by the sanctuary. The photo was taken a week ago, and you'll see that the owlet has flown to a tree. So they flew over to the tree over here, and now they've left the Berkeley campus, our UUCB campus. And I hope she comes back next year. This is the third year that the owl family's been here. So it seems that Marcus was asking us to talk about our philosophy about how we live our precious life, which I'll get to. But when I read the Mary Oliver poem, it seemed mostly about nature observations, and a lot about watching a grasshopper in the grass eating. Now, nature observations is something I know about. One way I live my wild and precious life is to make observations of nature. I use an app on my smartphone, maybe you've used iNaturalist. I have 657 nature observations. of 393 different species across the United States, and well over 100 right here at UUCB, because I do a lot of landscape work around here, and I like to take and identify the plants and animals here at UUCB. These observations of nature have become a way that I enjoy life. They make me focus on my surroundings and savor life. They become my awe moments. When I learned a new species of plant or learn a new fact of ecology, this creates happiness for me. So back to my plan for a wild, precious life. Well, good health seems to be pretty important. And fortunately, I've been blessed with good health so far, but that can change. So in closing, I have 3 suggestions. Number 1, do yoga. It encourages mindfulness. Number 2, every day is precious. Cultivate awe, or as I like to say, enjoy every sandwich. And number 3, I want to remind you we're having a work party on Saturday, 9 to 12. You can share in the spiritual practice of weeding and spreading compost and mulching. And perhaps we can share some of our wild stories. I have some I'd like to share, more that I'd like to share. I'd love to hear your wildlife stories. Thank you very much.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
Good morning. My name is Stephanie Ann, and my age is a meaningless social construct. That's because I am a time traveler. Of course, you need a guide or mentor to teach you time travel, and mine was this man, J.B. Jackson. The book cover describes him as the man who taught us to see everyday America. So, shall we travel back in time right now? How about a visit to Hu Chin? Before Europeans carved up Hu Chin and created political borders that were based largely on economics, the Ohlone people observed natural boundaries. They faced and focused on the bay because the hills behind them spelled danger. The Europeans gave names to those dangers: Wildcat Canyon, Grizzly Peak. Now let's move farther south in Hu Chin, down to my neighborhood in Oakland's Diamond District. A short walk down the street is the Peralta Hacienda, built by the descendants of Don Luis Peralta, whose land grant from the last Spanish governor of California took 45,000 acres of Hu Chin from the indigenous people. Known as Rancho San Antonio, most of the stolen lands were eventually sold to British and Welsh growers who planted vast fruit and nut orchards. I see the last of the fruit trees in my neighbors' yards. I see an old prairie windmill down the street. This is how I time travel. The things I see of everyday America become my portals to the past. I bid you safe travels in your one wild and precious life. Thank you.
I know this rose will open. I know my fears will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open.
This question, would have been different at an earlier age in my life. When I was younger and before I became a parent, it was some form of adventure or world travel. And later it also included making a difference in the world. And I got to do all of these to an extent. Later, when parenting, and then single parenting two wonderful children, I worked in the nonprofit community development sector for 25 years in 4 cities and 2 states. Then 20 more years as an English language teacher, math teacher in Oakland and in Richmond schools. I retired at age 70. Since then, what to do has been a constant companion for me. My backpacking and skiing days have ended a few years ago due to a pulmonary embolism. I'm still active physically with hiking, swimming, kayaking, tai chi, and yoga. And I also have 3 siblings, and that, as the oldest, I tend to look after them. Many of you know the church activities I'm involved in, and some of you know that I volunteer with all 3 levels of our local Richmond schools. I'm blessed to have a number of important male friends here through the Men's Fellowship, and some significant female friends. I hope to have all of them as dear friends for the rest of my life. My parents both died in their early 80s. My mom suddenly and unexpectedly. She was expected to outlive everyone else in her family. The experience of being with her as she died gives me pause about projecting my own future much beyond their years. So entering my 80s this year, I am more consciously attending to my friendships and to making as many new friends as I can. Also, being outdoors as much as possible. Along with health and vitality, these valuable friendships, many through here, UUCB, and being around my children and 5.5 grandchildren for as many years as I am able, has become the central focus of my life. I have reached the point in life where I am grateful every day for the world we live in and for my friends and my loved ones. I only wish for continued good health for as many years as it might be mine to cherish. Thank you.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
We invite you now into the spiritual practice of generosity. Instead of passing the plate, you can give electronically by scanning the QR code on the back of your badge, or you can put a cash or check donation into the donation envelope that's in the back of the pews in front of you. Write your name and mark offering plate or pledge, and you can put the envelope in the donation box that's in the outside by the fountain. Each week, half of the offering plate is shared with the nonprofit Good Neighbor organization recommended by our wonderful Social Justice Council. Thank you so much for practicing generosity with UUCB and with our good neighbors. Offerings of any amount are accepted with gratitude. The good neighbor for this month is the Richmond Emergency Food Pantry. The Richmond Emergency Food Pantry provides food for over 40,000 individuals annually. It is run on volunteers and donations alone. Thank you. That was beautiful. Please join me in dedicating our offering. We dedicate our offering and ourselves to the mission of this congregation to create loving community, inspire spiritual growth, and encourage lives of integrity, joy, and service.
We had two different speakers lined up at different moments to speak from their 90s, and neither of them could be here in the end today. But I want to share the words that they prepared with you. This is what Frederick Shaw, age 94, wrote. Mary Oliver asks all her readers, "Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?" The line she writes just prior to her question, he says, is, "Doesn't everything die at last, and too soon?" This line is quite a contrast to her earlier description of how she spent this lovely summer day, and it reminds us all of the importance of answering her question for ourselves. So, what is it that I want to do with the rest of my life? Be happy. And here are a few things that would help me be happy. I certainly want to have better health than I have now and much less pain so that I can go for walks and enjoy nature. I will continue dearly loving all my family members and will continue to be very grateful for the love and care they show me. I will continue listening to my favorite music, such as New Orleans jazz and Johann Sebastian Bach. And by the way, I wish for all of you to have the life you truly want. And Claire Baker wrote this poem for the occasion, Learning the Music, on reaching 96. As year to year my birth hair turns more gray, I'm finally acknowledging my age. It's hardly young, that I am flesh and clay. I check what I have written on the page, between the lines, within the book. I read rebellion, contributions, sorrows, joys. Dear life, I'm downright human. Now I need, as aging clings, intriguing books and toys to spark my inner sage and playful child. Whatever slant these newbie years may bring. Sometimes, dear world, I don't mind acting wild when wild feels more like me. It's true, I cling with all the stubbornness of one grown bold in learning music, known as growing old. Let's sing one last time. Let's try it as a round. We'll start on this side. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fears will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open.
Buenos días. I'm Charis Tomador, your Connections Coordinator. If you're new or newish to our church and you'd like to learn more about how to get connected, you can find me or any of the greeters at the welcome table after the service. And to find out what's happening in the life of our community, you can check out the week ahead on our website. It'll have information about upcoming events. This week, I want to especially lift up that our Toward a Just World, our summer forum, is back. Every summer, our Sunday morning programming features social justice-focused discussions at 9:30 before the service. You can join us in the fireside room or on Zoom. And Phil already got ahead of me, but I just wanted to remind you that on the 15th, we do have a work party. It is a lot of fun, and you help to keep our grounds looking neat and fresh. Let's rise once more in body or spirit and join in singing our closing song.
For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build a common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
You reach out a hand or touch a shoulder or just out to the great beyond. Let us be connected. To feel the truth that we are one body, that we depend on one another more than we know, from cradle to grave. May you do wondrous and sweet things with your wild and precious life. May it be so, and amen.